The Infinite Palace Part 1. The heroes arrive. The Infinite Palace loomed before them, a labyrinth of marble, gold, and shadows that stretched beyond mortal comprehension. It was said that no one who entered had ever seen its end. 3 figures stood at its grand entrance, each uniquely gifted, yet vastly different. Aaron, the Blade Master, a warrior of unmatched skill, his twin swords shimmered with an ethereal light. He was pragmatic and stoic, speaking little but striking with precision. Lyra, the spellweaver, a sorceress whose magic flowed like a living current, her silver robes ever shifting in color. She was insightful, her mind a library of arcane knowledge. Garrick, the beast-born, a towering man with the strength of 10, his wild nature barely restrained. He bore the fangs of a wolf and the eyes of a predator, but his heart was loyal. Each carried their own purpose, but together, they sought the treasures hidden within the palace, for only by claiming them all could they uncover the grand secret of its creation. The first trial, the Hall of Mirrors and the Shattered King. The first hall was a dazzling nightmare of mirrors, their silvered surfaces twisting and distorting reflections. Columns of onyx stretched toward a ceiling unseen, and at the center stood a throne of broken glass. Upon the throne sat the Shattered King, a figure pieced together from countless shards, his face a jagged mosaic, ever shifting. His voice was a whisper of 1,000 echoes. To pass, you must see what I cannot. The truth beyond reflections. Find me in the mirrors, or be lost in them forever. As the heroes stepped forward, the mirrors came to life, warping their images. Aaron saw versions of himself where he was weak, where his blade broke. Lyra saw herself drowning in her own magic. Garrick saw himself caged, his beastly spirit chained. Illusions, Lyra whispered. He's hiding in a real reflection, not an altered one. They split up, testing the mirrors, but each wrong step caused a shard to detach from the Shattered King, flying like a razor toward them. Aaron deflected them with his swords, but they multiplied. Garrick smashed mirrors in frustration, but the room only grew more chaotic. Then, Lyra noticed something, a single mirror that showed the king exactly as he was, not distorted. She cast a bolt of light into it, and the mirror shattered, revealing the true king standing behind it. The Shattered King let out a wail as his body collapsed, scattering into harmless glass. A doorway of mist opened in the far wall. The second trial, the Garden of Stone and the Sleeping Gorgon. The next hall was overgrown with vines and statues, hundreds of them. Each face was twisted in terror. At the center lay a massive serpent coiled around a pedestal, a woman's torso emerging from its scaled body. The Sleeping Gorgon had a face of unearthly beauty, her hair a nest of slumbering serpents. Wake her, and you die. The words were carved into the pedestal. She's asleep now, Lyra murmured, but if she wakes, we'll be turned to stone. Aaron moved carefully, scanning the room. The exit is behind her. We need to get past without making a sound. Garrick, for once, held back his urge to charge. They moved slowly, every step a whisper. But halfway across, Lyra's robe brushed against a brittle vine. The faintest rustle echoed. The Gorgon's eyes flickered open. Her emerald gaze swept across the room. Aaron threw a dagger, aiming not at her, but at a hanging vine. The weight dropped over her face, blinding her momentarily. Garrick leapt forward, grabbing the pedestal and flipping it with all his might. The Gorgon tumbled back, hissing. The moment her gaze was averted, the heroes sprinted for the exit. A moment later, the statues stirred, as if the Gorgon's power had waned. They had not defeated her, but they had escaped. The third trial, the Hall of Chains and the Iron Revenant. The third hall was suffocatingly cold, its walls lined with chains that shifted and rattled of their own accord. At the center, bound to a massive iron throne, sat a knight in black armor, his eyes burning like coals. The Iron Revenant did not move, until they stepped forward. "Prove your strength. Break the chains, or be bound like I was." Garrick seized a chain and pulled, but the moment he did, it snaked around his arm, dragging him toward the throne. The Revenant lifted his sword, dark magic crackling along its blade. Aaron intercepted the swing, twin swords flashing. Their blades clashed, the force sending shockwaves through the hall. Lyra conjured runes, trying to dispel the cursed chains, but they resisted. Garrick, still bound, used his brute strength, pulling against the chains even as they tried to crush him. His muscles bulged, veins straining. Then Lyra saw it, an ancient rune hidden beneath the knight's throne. A binding spell. "Aaron, keep him busy," she called, and the swordsman launched into a flurry of strikes, forcing the Revenant back. Lyra traced the rune with her fingers, whispering an incantation. The chains trembled. Garrick roared, snapping his bonds at last. He charged, grabbing the Revenant and hurling him against the throne. The chains sprang to life, wrapping around their former master. The Revenant let out a final, hollow scream as he was dragged into the iron seat, the throne sealing shut. The first treasure, the gauntlets of the Titan. As the Revenant vanished, the throne split open, revealing a pair of massive, silver-plated gauntlets. Garrick lifted them, feeling their power surge through him. The gauntlets of the Titan. Strength beyond mortal limits. Garrick grinned. "Now this is a treasure I like." With their first trial complete and their first treasure claimed, the heroes pressed on, deeper into the Infinite Palace. The true horrors were yet to come. The Infinite Palace Part 2. The fourth trial, the Hall of Whispers and the Lurking Phantom. Beyond the sealed throne of the Iron Revenant, the heroes stepped into a hall shrouded in shadow. Flickering lanterns cast pale green light on two endless stone pillars. The air was thick with whispers, countless voices murmuring unintelligible words, some pleading, others mocking. Aaron clenched his fists. "Something is watching us." From the darkness, a chilling laugh echoed. The lurking phantom emerged, a swirling form of tattered robes and hollow eyes, its spectral arms ending in clawed fingers. "Speak falsely, and you are mine." A riddle, Lyra realized. The whispers were a trap, feeding them false answers. The phantom spoke. "I was your first, yet I am not your last. Without me, there is no journey. With me, there is no return. What am I?" Aaron furrowed his brow. "A choice." The phantom's eyes glowed. "Wrong." The lanterns shattered, and the hall became a void. Cold hands grasped at them from the darkness. Garrick swung a fist, his titan gauntlets glowing with power. The spectral limbs broke apart under his strike, but more emerged. Lyra thought fast. "A step. The answer is a step." The phantom froze. The whispers turned silent. Then, with a shriek, the creature collapsed into itself, vanishing in a swirl of mist. The darkness lifted, and the exit appeared. The fifth trial, the Golden Menagerie and the Beast of Many Forms. The next hall was dazzling. Golden statues of animals lined the walls, their eyes glittering with gemstones. At the center stood a single pedestal, empty. Then, without warning, the statues moved. Lions, serpents, eagles, all shifting, blending, merging. They combined into a monstrous, ever-changing form, the beast of many forms. Its head flickered between a wolf's snarl, a dragon's glare, and an owl's gaze. "Defeat me, but do not kill me." Aaron drew his swords. "That complicates things." The beast attacked, shifting mid-strike. Aaron dodged a lion's claws, only to be struck by a dragon's tail. Garrick charged, his fists breaking a stone wing, but the beast reformed instantly. Lyra focused. "It's not just a beast, it's a puzzle. If we can't destroy it, we must separate it." She cast a powerful disjunction spell, and the beast trembled. The magic forced the golden creatures apart, but they fought against it. Garrick seized a moment and grabbed the shifting beast's core, a glowing orb at its heart. With his titan gauntlets, he pulled. The beast roared in agony as its forms split apart, the statues returning to stillness. The orb shattered, and the golden menagerie froze forever. The exit opened. The sixth trial, the Throne of Silence and the Silver Tyrant. The hall ahead was vast, with polished silver walls and a raised throne upon an altar. Upon it sat a warrior clad in gleaming plate, motionless. His sword, twice as tall as a man, rested across his lap. The Silver Tyrant did not speak. Aaron stepped forward cautiously. "This one isn't giving us a riddle." The moment his foot touched the marble floor, the knight's eyes burned white hot, and he stood. The battle had begun. Aaron was the first to move, blades clashing against the knight's massive sword. The impact sent a shockwave through the room. Lyra summoned bolts of magic, but the knight raised his free hand, a barrier formed, reflecting the spells back. "His armor is too strong," Lyra shouted. Garrick roared, charging with all his might. The titan gauntlets struck the knight's shield, sending sparks flying. The force staggered the tyrant, but he did not fall. Instead, he swung his colossal blade, knocking Garrick across the hall. Aaron studied his movements. "There's a pattern, he only moves after we strike." Lyra's eyes widened. "Then we must break the pattern." She cast a spell of silence, swallowing all sound in the hall. The tyrant hesitated, as if sensing the shift. In that moment of stillness, Aaron struck, not at his armor, but at the ground beneath him. The marble cracked, unbalancing the knight. Garrick seized the chance, delivering a mighty blow to the exposed side of the tyrant's helm. The knight crumbled, his armor falling into an empty shell. From within the silver shell, a hidden pedestal rose. Upon it lay the second treasure, a mirror shield, gleaming with enchantment. "It reflects all magic and all lies." Aaron picked it up, feeling the power flow through him. With two treasures in hand, the heroes continued deeper into the palace. The final trials awaited. The Infinite Palace Part 3. The seventh trial, the Crimson Library and the Keeper of Forbidden Tomes. The next hall was unlike any before, a grand library with endless shelves of crimson-bound books, their spines glistening with gold inscriptions in unknown languages. The air smelled of ancient paper and candle wax, though no flames flickered. At the heart of the library, seated upon a high-backed chair of bone and velvet, was a figure with hollow eyes and ink-stained fingers. The Keeper of Forbidden Tomes was neither living nor dead, his face obscured by a deep hood. His voice was a whisper upon dry parchment. "To leave, you must claim the book you seek. But choose wrongly, and you will be bound here forever." The walls shifted. The shelves reconfigured. Thousands of tomes rearranged themselves in endless patterns. Lyra stepped forward, her fingers tingling with arcane energy. This is a test of knowledge. She scanned the titles, but they were written in languages even she did not know. The keeper watched, silent and patient. Aaron tensed. This isn't just a riddle. It's a trap. Garrick grunted. We don't have time for games. He grabbed a book at random. The library shuddered. The walls melted into darkness, and ghostly chains shot from the floor, coiling around Garrick's arms. The keeper let out a hollow laugh. A poor choice. Your soul is now mine. But before the chains could pull Garrick into the abyss, Lyra acted. She pulled free the mirror shield and turned it toward the keeper. The shield gleamed, reflecting his own magic. The chains recoiled, shattering. Lyra's eyes darted across the room. Then she saw it, one book among thousands that did not rearrange itself. She seized it. The illusion collapsed. The keeper let out a final, unreadable whisper before vanishing into dust. The exit revealed itself. The eighth trial, the Clockwork Cathedral and the Gilded Behemoth. The next hall was mechanical, a grand cathedral of bronze gears, spinning cogs, and enormous pendulums swinging in perfect rhythm. The walls pulsed with clockwork mechanisms, and at the center stood a golden titan, 10 feet tall, its body made of interlocking plates and glowing runes. The gilded behemoth turned its head, eyes like molten gold locking onto the heroes. Defeat me before time runs out. A massive hourglass turned, sand beginning to fall. Aaron darted forward, blades flashing, but the behemoth's golden skin deflected his strikes. Lyra's spells bounced harmlessly from its armor. Garrick's mightiest punch left only a dent. It's invulnerable, Lyra hissed. Aaron's mind raced. The ticking gears, the pendulums, everything moved with precision. Time, he realized. It's powered by the clockwork itself. Lyra understood at once. She raised her hands and unleashed a pulse of disruption magic. The gears in the walls groaned, faltering. The behemoth staggered, its movements slowing. Garrick seized the moment. With his titan gauntlets, he delivered a blow to the behemoth's chest. The force cracked its armor, exposing the intricate mechanisms within. Aaron leapt, driving his swords into the exposed core. The behemoth spasmed as its gears ground to a halt, collapsing in a cascade of broken cogs. The hourglass shattered. The final trial awaited. The ninth trial, the Throne of Infinity and the Eternal Sovereign. The final hall was breathtaking, a celestial chamber where the floor reflected the cosmos, stars swirling beneath their feet. At the far end stood a throne of shimmering light, upon which sat a being of pure energy, clad in regal robes woven from the fabric of the universe itself. The Eternal Sovereign rose, their presence overwhelming. Only those who prove themselves worthy may claim the final treasure. Show me your strength, your wisdom, and your will. The battle began. The Sovereign raised a hand, and the cosmos itself answered. Meteors rained down. Aaron deflected them with the mirror shield, but the force sent him skidding back. Lyra conjured barriers, but the Sovereign shattered them with a mere thought. Garrick charged, titan gauntlets crackling with energy. He swung, but his fists passed through the Sovereign as if they were made of mist. A test of strength, wisdom, and will, Lyra muttered. It's not just a battle, it's a trial of our very essence. She closed her eyes and focused, not on destruction, but on understanding. She saw the Sovereign's form flicker, shifting between realities. They exist beyond time, she realized. They are testing us, not fighting us. She lowered her staff. We are worthy. Aaron and Garrick hesitated. The sovereign studied them. Then, with a nod, they stepped back. The sovereign smiled. With a gesture, the stars themselves parted, revealing the final treasure, a radiant, golden key. You have proven yourselves. The infinite palace is now yours to command. As the key pulsed with celestial energy, the palace itself seemed to shift. The heroes had conquered its trials. They had become its masters.